Greetings and salutations, YouTube. This is your friendly neighborhood armchair philosopher, Fragments of Memory. Now, I take the position that one should save sex within a marital context, or, the whole don't have sex until marriage argument. I see this as the golden standard. Whether you look at Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, they hold up that particular standard. Whether you're coming out the Bible, the Quran, the rule is no wed, no bed, or no wedding, no womb, to quote one YouTuber with the initials of CK. However, being a citizen of the ideal world, and of course, living or traveling, being a sojourner in the real world, I recognize that many here in the United States, we don't adhere to that rule. And I believe much to our collective peril. Excuse me, I think I've got a little... There we go. One need only to look at the single mother statistics and the results of growing up in a single parent home to recognize my statement is true. Now, let me provide you with this disclaimer. Now, if you're someone that is watching my video and you have come from a single parent household, this is in no way by any means an attempt to disparage you, revile you, or criticize you. This is just speaking on a collective scale, not necessarily on individual circumstances. But with that aside, let me just say we do live in a culture that doesn't encourage marriage, but it greatly encourages promiscuity for men. Now, I know there is a double standard where if a woman is promiscuous or very sexually active, she has the label of being a whore, a slut, a thot, if you want to take it there. But we as men are collectively encouraged to run through females, and just so we can get those notches on our belts or on our bedposts, however you want to look at that. And unfortunately, due to that idea being so ubiquitous in our culture, this thinking is co-signed by women. And of course, this happens and when I mean women co-sign it, this happens in the form of women choosing the man who is promiscuous and good with the ladies, or it's in the form of a woman not dealing with the man who might be a little bit more inexperienced. So the woman looking for the experienced man, in a sense, co-signs on male promiscuity unwittingly. Of course, this type of thinking, I know the YouTuber Obsidian Radio, who's interesting videos, he talks about how the 80-20 rule, where it says 80% of the women only will deal with 20% of the male population, while leaving the other 80% of men just out there with nothing. But this type of behavior, this type of action, it leaves us with STDs and STIs, and of course the out of wedlock births. And many aren't using protection. And of course, we do have access to condoms, and women have access to birth control. Now, here is the crux of my video. Should a man assist with paying for a woman's birth control? Now, I'm of the opinion that a man should assist with those birth control costs. Now, before I'm labeled a simp or I'm caping for the women, I guess that's the popular term these days on YouTube, I would say if you are in a committed relationship with this woman and you guys are having regular sexual contact, I think part of showing responsibility as a grown adult man is helping out with the costs of birth control. Now, unless she has some type of health insurance to offset the costs, because from what I've been told, birth control can be very expensive. Or if she's just a woman you just hit up on the regular. I know some guys out there they might have a woman that they might have a go-to lady, so to speak. They're not necessarily in a relationship. I guess they're in what you would call the situationship. Now, again, my position, of course, is ideally we should all be in the marital context, in the marital bed. But I recognize that not everybody adheres to that rule. They're still out here doing what they're doing. And I'm just saying, if you're going to take the risks, you need to take the necessary precaution. And I've even said this in past videos, of course. Now, if she's just a woman you randomly hooked up with, no, I don't think you need to chip in on her birth control. But I do think that we still need to, if we are going to engage in that activity, need to quote unquote strap up. You make the use of condoms. I still stand by that, of course. If you choose to engage in sex, no matter whether married, no, not married, of course. Hopefully you're monogamous and you're not out here sampling the goods that are out here. But for those that might be in a relationship, but not necessarily married, or those that are just out here just throwing their member around. Because we as men need to be responsible with our sexuality. And as another side note, marriage isn't just for white people. I just want to put that out there because I think that the perception is only white people and other groups get married. Black people just shack up and make babies. And that's not the case. Now, abstinence is the best and safest policy. You don't have to worry about anything with abstinence, but you don't have to worry about things with abstinence. But I understand that not everyone's going to walk the abstinence road. So I at least acknowledge that if you are in a relationship or in a situationship, I would recommend, hey man, help your partner out with the birth control. You know, that's part of being responsible too, because it takes two to tango. It also takes two to have a baby, and then of course it's going to take two of you to raise it. So unfortunately, you don't want to be, if you're not willing to have children, but you still want to enjoy yourself, either abstain. And if you can't abstain or you refuse to abstain, make sure you're taking those necessary precautions. So if it means you got to pony up a little cash to help the sister out with her birth control, I say do it. It's a lot less expensive than the child support that you may end up having to pay if you don't do it. So that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Just give me your insight or make a response video.